talk about it.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the pod.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'll say I'm Michael Barnard. I'm from Gallatin. I've been living in Murfreesboro now for 6 years. Played at MTSU. Started working with Jude on and off 4 years, 5.
Who knows?
I'd say.
Long time.
Yeah, a very long time. Learned a lot, and now here we are.
Nice. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We had a lesson today.
We did have a lesson today.
You want to talk about that?
Yes.
What did we learn?
I walked in hitting it like shit, and I left hitting it better.
That's always the goal.
Yes.
It
It only took, 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes?
only took 4 minutes. Let's talk about why you were hitting it bad and why it only took 4 minutes, because this is very valuable for anyone listening who takes golf lessons.
Mm-hmm.
We have been working on a lot of things. If you do this, then you can do this kind of thing. And we were basically getting you to playing the club earlier at the top, getting to your shallow move and flatten out your structure a little sooner so you could open up your body and hit it more with rotation so you could hit those fades.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere lost in translation, right?
Yes.
We went from playing it sooner at the top, and then you thought you had to drop it from there as you rotated,
Mm-hmm.
and you were stuck hitting it both ways.
Very stuck.
And we had the same end goal, but we got lost in the instruction part and the communication part a little bit. How easy is that to happen during a golf lesson? And how do you think we can avoid it in the future? Because I tell my students all the time, it's really hard to take a golf lesson. You are trying to control your body. You're trying to listen to some guy tell you what to do. And you're also caught up in the results. And sometimes you may, if it's a 55, 60-minute lesson and you don't have an instructor pulling you back, you could easily hit 90 balls in 60 minutes, 100 balls in 60 minutes. And it's really hard to retain that information. So how moving forward should we make sure that doesn't happen again?
I think a better way, what we talked about at the end, is I need to write down very detailed notes about what we talked about, because for people who don't know, I have a very tendency to forget things very easily. Even if someone tells me, I'll go 10 minutes and I'll be like, I don't remember what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a good trait, but that's okay. So I think writing down details, and I think one of the more important things in a lesson is not getting so caught up in how you're hitting it at that time.
Correct.
Because, if you're working on something that's going to take you a month, then you might hit it like shit for a little bit, and that's okay. But it's not to get so caught up in that. It's really get caught up in how does it feel and what are we working towards, and is it feeling better each day, feeling worse, and kind of going from there.
It's very important that I communicate to my students that we are changing this today, and it's like a snowball. If we change this today, in the future, you will have to change this and this and this. So when we go into the concept and the stuff that we have to change, even you and I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you hit it for 15 or 30 minutes. And they look at me like I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care where you hit it for half of this lesson. I just want you to get this structure right, because I know it's going to unlock things later down the road. So yeah, it's very important for students to not get so caught up in, I didn't stripe it the first 5 minutes we talked about this. This is going to be the hardest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
No, you just got to do it slowly.
Yeah, you just want to leave with a good idea about what you can work on every day to make you better. Not, hit it better for the first. That's a Band-Aid. Nobody wants Band-Aid. Unless you really need one a day before a tournament or something like that. That's different. But most of the time, lessons are pretty soon in advance.
Hopefully. We do have the members who have a member guest coming up.
Yeah, well, that's different.
And they want to not slice it before the big member guest.
Those are easy Band-Aids to fix, though.
Yeah, so that's a good point. What do you have coming up?
I got a U.S. Open local qualifier Monday in Cincinnati, and then the Knoxville Monday in Tennessee, close to here.
The Knoxville Monday. It's not Holston. Where is it?
No, the tournament's at Holston. It'll be a Mondays at
Black Creek.
No, Three Ridges or some new place I've never heard of that has a par 6.
Oh,
like 45 minutes outside of Knoxville.
The Country Club?
I don't know what it's called. I just heard it has a par 6.
Yeah, I know that place. I can think of what it's called. It could be the country club.
Par 6 is wild, though. I've never played one of those.
Do you want to tell people about your U.S. Open practice round?
No practice rounds. Yeah. So I didn't read the email very good. I guess I should have, but I wouldn't have been there anyways. But so I'm going to Cincinnati to play it. It's 4.5 hours from Murfreesboro. And apparently you can only play a practice round 2 Sundays ago. And that would have been 3 weeks before the Monday. So I called today, tried to make a practice round. They're like, yeah, that's tough. Like, tough shit. Like, okay.
Big advantage for the local guys.
Yeah, and I got an email that you won't be able to putt or chip before the round.
What?
Yeah, good luck. Hit balls, and I hope you don't hit it above the hole in the first.
That is the most, it's the USJV and the USGA where they don't have the foresight, or they want a nice golf course to host locals and then regionals, but they also cannot find a place that will be willing to give up their golf course for the players. And you're probably going to go there, and they're not going to treat you the best because they don't want you there, and that sucks. And
yeah, I've already.
You have to play the ball down no matter what condition it is, no matter if it's raining.
I've already told myself I'm going to go out there on Sunday. I'm going to act like I have no idea I can't be here right now until someone tells me to leave. If you hear this, sorry, but that's what I'm going to do.
That's crazy. Shout out to the USGA.
Yeah, they're good.
Everything as hard as possible.
So nice of them.
And trying to roll the ball back.
Roll the ball back's crazy.
Yeah, very crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Let's make the game harder.
It's stupid. Like, people are getting bigger and stronger, and they're trying to take that away from people. Like, take away the fact that Rory McIlroy works out to hit it this much further than all these other guys that don't. So let's just screw him.
We finally have real athletes playing golf, and
they hate it. They hate it.
They do.
It's stupid.
They don't like these shirt untucked, backwards hat.
Nope.
I have a couple tattoos.
They hate Jason Day's new outfits.
I know.
Hate him.
They hate that company, even though the owner is the nicest guy ever. It's let's make golf more exclusive.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Not harder.
Take the fun aspect out of all of it. The enjoyable aspect.
That's the worst.
It's stupid.
And I've worked in only high-level country clubs, and I've always thought that's the worst.
100% the worst.
Big day tomorrow. Probably be today or the week of when this podcast comes out, but the first NCAA portal for women's golf opens tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Start of a new era.
Start of a new era. And you transferred.
I did transfer.
How did that go?
I went, told my coach at the time that I don't think this is a fit for me. And then he asked where I wanted to go, and I was committed to MTSU originally before I went to Tennessee. And I was like, I would like to go back there. And I got in touch with Mark McIntyre, and then I ended up here.
That was a good choice.
It was a smooth process.
It was a good choice. Do you have any advice for people that are entering the portal because they are not happy with their current situation on how you would rank the most important thing that they're looking for in transferring?
Yeah, I would say number one is coach. You need to find someone that you're okay with being around all the time, that you can be friends with, but they can also, be who you're looking for, and, a schedule, making a good schedule, making good practices, being hard on you, but also, rewarding you when you're playing good and stuff like that.
Being a leader.
Yeah, 100%.
Helping you grow up to be a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Respectful man or woman.
100. I think that's the biggest part, finding someone who, helps you grow outside of golf as well. Helps you be a better person and all that. That's very big. Practice facilities is also very nice. I'm a believer, though, no matter what you got, you can get better. You can do the same things everywhere. Yeah, it might not be as nice as certain places, but you can still get things done. And then I guess, obviously schedule with PGA Tour U. That's pretty big, especially if you have aspirations of, being on the tour. It really helps to start out there and you have a tour to play on straight out of college.
Yeah, that's a tricky one because I'm assuming most of the people that are entering the portal tomorrow, men and women, are entering the portal because of the lack of playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there could be some personal issues, but I would assume the number one thing is lack of playing time.
100%.
So if you were a stud, man or woman, especially the men, because the LPGA, whatever they're going to call their Tour U that they tried to update this year, is far behind the guys. So if you're a stud guy, you want to go to, say, a top 30 program for strength of schedule in the points in the PGA Tour U. But if you're not playing there, then you have no chance.
No. And nowadays, you're going to the highest bidder. Who's going to give you the most money?
It is starting to, NIL starting to roll out in college, even at the mid-major level, the MTSUs, the WKUs.
Everyone's starting to dip their foot in the water.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's very good for golf because I don't know any place, and I'm sure there are, but most of the golf teams are not revenue generating.
No.
So for the coach or the university to go out and find donors, basically, to pay for that NIL is very exciting.
Very, yeah.
For
I mean,
golf.
It'll drive people in too. I mean, especially if a mid-major can be like, I can give you X amount of money, and you're playing a good schedule. I mean, it's going to drive so many kids to go do that over going to Power Fives when they could have easily played at a Power Five.
Correct. So, you have the big three in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They do it in the NBA all the time. They try to do it in the NFL. It's a little harder with the contracts in the NFL. But why do you think these golfers haven't started to recruit their friends to go to the same places and create more of a dynasty super team like LeBron did in Miami? And they find a mid-major that has money.
I think.
And a good coach and a good golf course.
I think we're going to see more of that coming up now. I think it's the beginning of all of it. The super teams are going to start being made. I think that you just had a brilliant idea about it.
I mean,
and it might be the start of something.
If you're in a Power Four and most of these schools, if not all of these schools, have three people. Even though they're in qualifying, they don't have to qualify, right? That's why we have coaches picks, or they're just that much better.
Yeah.
They're probably upperclassmen, right? So if you're a freshman or sophomore, and with the performance reviews, you're expected to perform right away for the team. If you're not playing or you're fighting tooth and nail to go as an individual, and you have one or two killers coming in, they signed, or they go out and they get an All-American in the portal, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go find the girl you played in the final round when the Elite Sea Island or North South or at Pinehurst, recruit that person to go to a college with a lot of money where you can play every tournament, get your whacker up, get better, because you're not going to get better without playing in tournaments.
No.
It's impossible.
You can't.
So I do think that's going to start happening. I don't know, because college golfers more so than any other sport, all my friends are from golf. All year we met from golf. And it's not like we're that tooth and nail competitive off the golf course. So it's not a big deal for you to have a good friend that went to Western Kentucky or UAB or Liberty, one of your rivals, So I do see that happening in the future.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's a hell of an idea. Especially if you're not playing and you can build a team that's going to be just as strong as a ton of Power 5 schools. If not, you got to say a conference winning team. You would think a really good chance to get their regional type team. Yeah, that's all guys are looking for.
There's some of these smaller conferences, shout out to Western Kentucky girls, Southern Miss girls. They both win their conferences. Can you imagine them with a couple really strong SEC 4 or 5s?
Go from just not only winning conference to being probably a 4 or 5 seed in region.
Yeah, you go from a 10 seed to 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Which gives you
College of Charleston.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
What are they? What seed are they in regionals?
They're a 7.
Okay.
But they added one of my players. Shout out to her. I will not name her name, but they added one of a really hardworking girl that wasn't getting playing time from a Power 4, a top 10 program, and she had 10 of her first 12 starts were top 10s. She went up 2,000 in Wagger.
Yeah. It's crazy what would happen when you give someone chances.
They won conference. She's in all the big all the big amateur events this summer.
Yeah.
And she probably would have been riding the bench. still, or fighting for that fifth spot.
Yeah, probably over some coaches' favorites that she's probably much better than.
Yeah, you never know the reason, but it's most of the time it's their how they discipline doesn't fit how that player wants to be disciplined. Whether if it's too tough, not tough enough, I'm not there. I won't obviously talk about that, but it's got to be where I'm okay being yelled at because I grew up in Louisville, Indiana, with Patino and Bobby Knight, and that's just how my grandparents did it. But now with these young adults these age, you have to talk to them differently. So if they don't gel right away and they don't feel that style of discipline, they're going to shut down.
That's something coaches kind of have to adapt to nowadays, is being able to kind of preach to everyone, not just one style of it. And I know some people are never going to do that. They're going to keep their ways and they're going to drive people away. And whoever wants to stay is going to stay. But I think if you really want to build a good team and help everyone develop and get better, you got to learn how to, really treat everybody the way that they can push them. Because not everybody can be pushed by yelling and being like, you can't do this, you can't do that for a while. And just telling them they suck at all this. Some people that helps, but other people it's like, oh man, this is what he thinks about me. I'm done with this.
I think if you look at the best coaches in history on all sports, they all adapted. And Phil Jackson did not teach Michael Jordan or coach Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant the same way, or Shaq, or even J.J. Redick now, who I think is an amazing basketball coach.
He's taking all the heat now, though, is what they're saying.
But he should. But he's, this is a golf podcast, but it's not his fault Luka doesn't play defense until the fourth quarter.
No, it's not.
And I'm a big Luka fan.
I mean, you make a good point, though.
But I think he had the right scheme.
I agree.
I know nothing. I'm not on that level.
Yeah, we'll get away from the NBA. I'm sure we could talk about that another time.
I do love the NBA, though. Let's talk about. Let's get pretty in depth here because I know you've been pro for 8 months, and I know life out there is expensive,
very expensive,
and it's lonely. And if it's okay with you, I want to talk about what goes on in your mind when. Because you are financing most of this on your own, when you know that you have X amount of money for the week and what you have to make, and if you do not make money, how does that make you feel, and how often do you think about that? So just for instance, we're playing a mini tour event that's going to be $1,500 for the week.
Yeah, it's normally,
give or take,
it's normally about $1,200 entry, and then I split an Airbnb with the guys a couple weeks ago, and it was $275 a man. So that's just under $1,500. Then you got to count in food.
You haven't got there, and you haven't eaten. Okay, so
yeah,
at least $2,000.
Yeah, so had to fly there, get a rental car for the week. I mean, that's not cheap. I think the flights I got way in advance, they're about $300 something. The rental car was $350 for the week, so just over $2,000 before you even tee it up.
And you haven't eaten anything.
Haven't eaten anything.
So, and the purse, obviously, so you have to finish top 10, probably?
Yeah, in the APT tour, you can get away with top 20.
120, 140 guys?
140 usually.
It's tough.
It's very tough. Once you get there, maybe not at first in your career, but then, say you struggle for a little bit, then you're getting to tournaments and you're kind of crunching some numbers. You're like, okay, I need to finish in this spot to make money back, but if I want to play in a lot more tournaments, I need to finish here.
Yeah.
And before you even peg it, you've put so much pressure on yourself, which, I mean, it's hard not to do. People say, I just don't think about it until you get in that situation, and you kind of can't stop thinking about it because all you want to do is play more tournaments because, reps are the best thing you do in pro golf. If you play twice a month, it's going to be hard, very hard.
So we know golf is all mental, especially at your level. How hard is it not to think about that? How hard is it to make the turn at 2 over, knowing that it's going to take probably 6 under to make the cut, get a bad lie, get a bad kick on 10, make another bogey? How hard is it not to think about, man, this is a waste of money?
It's a lot harder to stay in the moment than what it was in college. because in college, you're not paying for any of this, any of that. Like, you're just trying to help your team out. So it was a lot easier. But now, you can really let your emotions get the best of you. Especially like you're saying, you turn a 2 over, you hit a good drive on 10, but you end up in a divot. Then you hit that and it goes in a bunker and it plugs. Then you hit that on you 2 up for bogey. And you can just make you so fiery.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bad break. And of course now, you're playing for X amount of money. I've already in the hole 2,500. Now you're stressed out about that. Now you're letting these small things bother you that would never bother you if you're out playing for fun. But this isn't just for fun, even though you should treat it like it. It's hard to.
It's so hard. It's easier to say than do.
Oh, it's so easy to say.
A lot of these people, these local amateurs or these guys that want to turn pro, or they can shoot 500-600 at their local club or their local muni, and they always wanted to give it a go. But what they don't understand is that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
That you're driving or you're flying from place to place. The golf course may not be great. You play in almost every condition because they're not going to have the golf course for a fit day at a lot of these places. And then you have to watch your bank account go down and your credit card statement go up.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's so mental, and it's impossible not to think about that. And it's impossible not to think about so-and-so who you came up with who has a easier financial situation than you, and he can give it more time, or he has better sponsors, or, like that guy could have made it. He was better than me. He's always been better than me, but he didn't have any money. And now he's coaching. But I'm out here. Like, is this a waste of my time? Should I get a job now? That's what people that are just on the surface don't understand unless they're out there playing and they're coaching and they're inside the ropes, how much of a struggle this is. And that goes on the G Pro, APT, West Coast, all the way to the Corn Ferry Tour. There's Corn Ferry Tour guys that you think are living the dream, and they're like, man, this could be my last week. Yeah. This could be my last year.
Well, especially, those guys who are going, they start the year in the Corn Ferry, making these guys travel everywhere.
Colombia, Panama,
and if
Peru,
you're
Mexico,
getting those starts,
Bahamas are so expensive to travel to.
But if you're getting the starts, you have to take them.
Yeah.
You can't start 8 events behind the 8 ball. That's just not what you want to do. And, you go and you miss all those cuts. You're going to be 25, 30 grand in the hole easily for the week.
Yeah.
Or not for the week, for those first 6 tournaments. It's just like, it's more internal pressure than anything. It's just the pressure you put on yourself to, like, I need to perform because I need money. It's not like, you're going to get paid no matter what, like a normal job. Like, okay, I'm going to put in my 40 hours, I'm going to get paid, blah, blah. You can put in 40 hours practicing. You go turn and miss the cut, tough shit. You're not getting anything. Nada.
Let's talk about that all the way down to even a junior level in junior golf, because pressure is everything. And I have a couple things I want to talk about. But first, junior golfers these days. Maybe it's their parents, maybe it's Golf Digest, maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's social media. They're all into keeping their stats, their strokes gained, approach, proximity to the hole, which can and should make you better, right? But most of that data is going to be based on PGA and LPGA Tour players.
Yeah.
And so when you're 14, 15, and 16, and you're caught up in golf defines you, golf is who you are, and you're playing these tournaments, and you're shooting even 1 over, 2 over, and you're typing in the stuff, and it says you're losing all these strokes. But it's relative to the bigger tours.
Yeah.
It's not relative.
Tour averages.
It's not relative to the junior tours.
No.
You may be losing 8 strokes to a PGA Tour player,
but 1 in the field.
Correct.
It's not. It's good. Like, we had to use decade in college, and there were times where I thought it was good. Then there were other times where spitting these stats at me, I'm like, that's BS. Like, get out of here. Like, I did not lose this shots today.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if I was playing on tour, but to the field on this day, like, decade also doesn't understand the conditions you played in. Like, it could be 40 degrees outside, blowing 30, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't pick any of that up. So there's some points of it that are good. I think the putting aspect is good.
Putting's great.
The
Proximity
is good. But then like driving, like if you decide to hit a 2-iron off the tee, it doesn't like it sometimes compared to where guys would hit driver, it'll give you minus shots and stuff like that. So it has its up and downs to it, but the short game and approach aspect of it's very good.
You were a very high level junior golfer. How caught up were you in your ranking, class ranking, and stroke differential?
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know anything about it until after I played good in the junior PGA, and that kind of got me in all these AJGA events, like the invitational ones. Didn't even really know about them, and it got me into all of them. And I meet all these kids. You know, all they do is play golf. They don't go to school. These kids, I was at school 8 hours a day, and they were like talking to a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, they were really good at golf, but I didn't know anything about it until then, and I kind of looked at it a little bit, but nothing crazy. But once I got a wagger, that was something in college I checked consistently because it gets you in all of your tournaments in the summer. You had to have a good wagger to play in these big events.
I agree with the wagger because you do need a resume, but I do think looking at Junior Golf Scoreboard weekly and college golf commits daily, where your competition is going to college, if they've verbaled yet what your diff is, what's dropping off, when it's dropping off, I think that only adds pressure to a already pressure-packed situation of junior golf.
I agree.
It's so competitive. In the state of Tennessee where we are, I think we're 7th ranked.
It's always been very strong here.
It's so
like
competitive.
Very strong.
And I look at the top players, and most of them aren't concerned with that. They know that if they play good in these events, then they can just kind of not worry about it and coast.
Mm-hmm.
But I go back and forth. I want these kids to have every resource available that is provided by myself, their other coaches, if they have other coaches, and their parents. But when they are stressed out because their class rank is 4 and they think they should be 2 because they just beat the 2 and 3 guy in the tournament, but they've played in different tournaments, it just eats at them.
It's pretty dumb.
And I'm all about like how do we as coaches and parents and friends of these players take away pressure? Because I think, and I would love to talk to you about this, and we didn't talk about this beforehand. I think, and this is going to sound like conceited, but I tell people all the time, and I've told you this, when you come in for a lesson, within the first 15 minutes of meeting me, I'm going to have you hitting shots better than you've been hitting them and potentially than you've ever hit them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a controlled environment. It's a flat lie. We're on a range. We have cameras, TrackMan, teaching professional, hundreds of golf balls. There's no pressure, so it's easy for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that matters to me is, well, can you do it when I'm not there? Various lies, half yardages, wind conditions, and can you do it in a tournament? And I think they get to hitting it really well, pretty quickly, and I think that adds pressure to them. And I've talked to other coaches. I'm really into talking to the parents, really into bringing the parents. I think it takes a village to develop a support system for these juniors and these college kids. But they hit it so good during the lesson, and they expect to go out that day and hit it that same. Well, the ball's a little below your feet. Your 8-iron goes 165. You have 168. You may swing a little harder, ball below your feet. You may hit a big pull.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different, but they don't always understand that.
No, I mean it's hard to. I didn't understand it, for the first little while. It's always like when you hear guys on tour say like, "This was probably my worst warm up of the year," then they go out and shoot 11 under. It's really like what I've learned to really focus on is when you're practicing, like practice the right things. Like don't just be hitting into the middle of the range. Like let's get alignment stick down, let's hit at targets, and let's make sure we're working on everything we need to. And then when you're warming up for a tournament, you're doing exactly what you're saying. Like you're warming up. Like if you're hitting it bad, it's okay. It doesn't matter how you hit it right now. So if you got 30 minutes, you're just trying to get loose for 30 minutes.
Trying to visualize
and just get loose.
How far is the ball going?
then once you get up on the tee, like now it's time to hone it in and let's hit shots. I mean, obviously hit shots on the range, but if they're not perfect every single time, it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I do worry that everything we're doing is adding pressure.
I feel like you can't really control someone from putting pressure on themselves. Either they're going to be good at not allowing pressure, like to pressure themselves, or they're going to suck at it. Then there's nothing you can really do to change it. I mean, a mental coach can tell you all these things, but unless you really buy in and truly believe it in your head, then you're just going to continue to kind of screw with yourself when you get out there. I mean, if you let a gazillion thoughts go through your head because you hit one bad shot and then it just goes downhill from there, it's kind of not anyone's fault but your own.
What if your main goal is to stay in the present? You have 18 opportunities in 18 holes.
Mm-hmm.
18 opportunities to stay focused, to give it your all. And you set mini goals along the way. I'm big into mini goals. And one of those being the Tiger 5. It's less, it's pretty in depth, but it's obviously don't bogey any par 5s.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have any 3-putts. He was not make bogey
From 150, right?
He was 9-iron and in
Okay.
from the fairway.
Okay.
Not give up any easy up and downs, basically.
Yeah, like straightforward pitch shots or chips.
And no 3-putts.
I think you said no 3-putts.
Is that 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you try that in college?
I did not. I never knew about it until Chris Edge, the assistant this year for MTSU, really honed in on them for focusing on things like that, and I'd never heard of it before then. I mean, obviously, when you think about it, it's very simple things. When you really hone it in your brain and you get out there, you're like, okay, maybe this back right flag from 150, if I do hit 115 feet left of it, it's not a bad shot. I mean, it's 150 yards instead of like I'm taking dead aim at this thing. Next thing you know, you push it in a bunker and it plugs. You're going to make bogey.
I heard Rory earlier this year. Obviously, he's having an incredible year. Hopefully, he wins every major. That would be great.
Quail Hollow, he's going to win.
He was saying his ball doesn't curve a lot from 150 in when he's playing good. So he was going to attack more pins this year from 150 in. So that's, at the time, the number 2 ranked player in the world. He's still number 2. Scotty's going to be hard to catch, but one of the best golfers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top 20 golfers of all time, 15 golfers of all time. Now that he's got the Grand Slam, 10 golfers.
Maybe top 10, yeah.
Whatever. One of the greatest players of all time. So, for us, mere mortals, I would say 120 and in, like a gap wedge.
Yeah, I would say
it's different if you're a high-level college golfer,
mm-hmm.
if you're a professional. But I'm still on the junior golf kind of level. If it's outside of your gap wedge, there's nothing wrong with hitting the middle of the green inside of 30 feet.
No.
That's why if you work on 3-putt avoidance and your carry numbers, if you just boil it down to the simple stuff,
you make it easier to understand. It's already a hard enough game. That's what I've tried to do in tournaments is kind of boil it down to like, okay, my goal today is I want to give myself 15 opportunities, 15 putts of birdie. Like, no matter whether from offset you're going to hit some that are 40, 50 feet away. That's okay if you play a 200-yard par 3. Sometimes you're going to get an knuckler out of the rough. It's going to be a long putt. Like, that's fine. But shooting to just give yourself opportunity after opportunity. And it kind of leads to bogey avoidance. Like, if I give myself more opportunities, I'm going to make less bogeys.
Bogey avoidance is huge.
It's very huge.
You have 1 and 2 handicaps that are making 2.5 birdies around,
mm-hmm.
but they're also making a double or 2 and 4 or 5 bogeys. Where a PGA Tour player is going to make 1.5 more birdies than they are,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to beat them by 6 every round.
Yep.
Basically, bogey avoidance is big. And if you strategize for a tournament, you should know if you have 4 par 5s, and say you have most these kids bomb it, so you'll have at the minimum on a conservative level, 4 to 5 wedges in.
Mm-hmm.
So that is 9 to 10 opportunities every round.
Like a really good scoring chances.
Exactly. So if you can convert 25% of those, you make 2.5 birdies right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a numbers game. And then it comes down to bogey avoidance. Turn doubles into bogeys, turn bogeys into bars, and in the span out of a year, it's not, these kids want, when you talk about bogey avoidance, they want it for that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They, well, I did everything he asked me to, coach, and I shot 74. It's in a span of a year.
Yeah.
It will span out in a year.
It'll start to get better and better as you do it, too. Because, I mean, I still have tendencies sometimes to get up there at a left flag, and I don't draw it too well. And I'm like, I'm going right at this damn thing. And next thing you know, I cook one left of the green. Now you're short-sided. You're like, all right, this was stupid. When I could have hit one 20 feet right of it and had a perfect uphill putt at it.
Now you get a 12-footer bar.
Yeah, and you just look like an idiot hitting this quack hook with a 9-iron.
We've all done that.
Mm-hmm. Happens sometimes. But yeah, bogey avoidance, especially in pro golf. I mean, you start to think about it. You're like, okay, I made a stupid bogey that cost me $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have gotten paid $1,000 more if I wasn't just a jackass right there. If I would have just hit a normal shot and I tried to pull something crazy off. That's when you're like, wow, like every shot really does matter.
When you dot the pins the night before and you strategize on Decade or Shot Pattern or Google Earth, whatever you're using, you have your notes from the practice round. How hard is that to stick to? Do you stick to no matter what? Do you change it up depending on score? Do you not change it up till the last day depending on score?
I think so. I think it's different for tournaments. So if it's a 4-day tournament, unless things are like really bad and like the second day you really have to push to make the cut, I wouldn't fare away from it. But on a Monday, say last 5 holes, it's not really driver holes, but you got to make 4 or 5 birdies, or let's say an eagle, squeeze one in there, and maybe you're forcing the issue a little bit. I think it's all kind of in the moment dependent. I would say though, for the most part, like 90% of the time, you're sticking to the game plan. Because your game plan is obviously going to be good enough to still give you birdie chances. But I mean, if you really have to force the issue and, sometimes driver's not worth it, but you really need to get it up there, then it's okay to do that, but you definitely stick to the game plan more than anything.
How long did it take you to develop a game plan? Because I tell people all the time, high-level juniors, that they don't know how to play golf yet. And they look at me like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, no disrespect, you're really good, but and a lot of kids can make it to college golf without knowing how to play golf.
That's funny you say that. I don't think I made a first game plan until probably like junior year, because
Right.
I finally got tired of Mark getting on me. He's like, you don't do shit during practice rounds. All you do is hit shots and you're just around here.
But that's where these college golf coaches who always played at a high level,
mm-hmm.
they've been around that coaching aspect. That's where they help these young men and women. They teach them how to play golf.
Mm-hmm.
They teach them how to get the most out of their game. They teach them how to shoot even to 2 under when they're not hitting it well.
Exactly.
That the cream will always rise if they keep on doing what's required. They keep on doing the same stuff, sticking to the game plan. Because you can be super skilled and talented, and you can hit it farther than anyone in junior golf, and it can only take you so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then you show up to the University of Tennessee, and there's 8 other guys that are as good as you. But they have the mental aspect a little bit better because they're a little older.
Mm-hmm.
They're sophomore, junior, senior, 5th year, and they know how to play golf. They know where to miss it. They know the angles. They understand that even if they're 1 over, 2 over through 3, that doesn't matter. Because it's crazy that bogey in the first hole has no more weight in your round than bogeying the 17th hole. But mentally,
you're like, well, this sucks. I started with a bogey.
Yeah,
it's like nobody wants to do that.
But the guys and the girls that have been out there a long time, it's just another hole.
Mm-hmm.
They have 17 more holes. They're all the same, especially on day 1 or day 2 of a tournament.
I was definitely really stubborn when I first got to college, and
it's hard.
It is hard. I mean, I would do the same way. I would start out, 1 or 2 over through 3 sometimes, and now you're like, well, screw this, like I want to get those back. So you try to force it. Next thing you know, you're 5 over through 9. And you're like, well, that happened fast just because I was trying to force the issue. And then, you start to realize, like, if you have a game plan, you stick to it, like, you're going to give yourself birdie chances. And then one's liable to go in. Next thing you know, you have 3 or 4 go in a row just because of your game plan. And you're not trying to force the issue. If it's a back right flag, you're hitting the smart shot 15 feet left of it, not trying to go right at it. And you're making a birdie instead of a bogey or double. And it's like just realizing, like, maybe playing smart isn't the worst thing in the world, which is hard. I mean, it's hard to do at first because you want to be aggressive. You want to birdie every hole. I mean, everybody does when they tee up. Everybody dreams of shooting 18 under.
If you
It's
look
just
at,
not going to happen.
if you look at Tiger and Scotty, they've done that their whole career.
Mm-hmm. And they've made a lot of money.
Their whole career.
Yeah.
Scotty.
They do a really good job of it. A very good job.
Not green pins, yellow pins, red pins.
Mm-hmm.
Just trucking along.
So, do you understand all that green, yellow, red, like the pin thing?
Yeah.
So I've heard people talk about it, but I've never really asked questions like, what defines a green? What defines yellow? What defines red?
It depends on your shot shape.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of front pins, and Scotty talks about this in Decade.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Fawcett, I think, is obviously the leading pioneer for a lot of this stuff. A lot of the front pins are actually yellow pins.
Really?
Yeah, I would look up all the stats, but it's like PGA Tour players on average come up 3.5, 4 yards short of their intended carry distance on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
So what is junior golfers going to do? What are college golfers going to do? You're gonna miss it and come up a little shorter than you are flush it long.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those front pins, people miss the green short. And that Scotty talks about that. And then obviously, like, red pins, if you can't go over, if there's a bunker you can't get out of on the left side. I can draw the ball easier than you. You can fade the ball easier than me. So I could go to a left pin easier than a right pin.
So that would be like a green one? Like, say if it's...
It also depends on your yardage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have not guessed
And
that
it
a front
depends on
pin is yellow.
Yeah, just think about how many times you have a front pin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, it's easy to think about this. We're at the Grove. We have a front right pin from the black tees. We have 185 yards to the pin.
Mm-hmm.
We have 178 yards cover. We have 7 paces, water everywhere. Cannot hit in the water. You're going to make 5 on that hole because the drop area is downhill, downgrade,
hard wet shot.
Water, impossible. You're automatically going to take a club that you can miss and still carry it to the pin.
Yeah.
But
okay.
If we have the front of the green there, we don't think about that. We're trying to stone that in because it's a front pin.
Mm-hmm.
So normally, if we have a front pin, we have a shorter club in. You know, if you play a green that's 45 paces long, day 1 of the tournament's on the front, you're hitting 8 iron. Day 2 of the tournament's on the back, you're hitting 6 iron.
Yeah.
So you're like jazzed up to hit that 8 iron. You miss it a little bit. False front. There's a bunker in front. Yeah.
That makes sense. I've never thought about it like that before, but I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm pretty sure there are interviews where Scotty on front pins, unless it's a perfect yardage, flies it to the pin. And he just
takes his chance. I mean, wherever it ends up from there, it ends up. Yeah.
But he's really good at knowing how far his ball's going.
Very good at that.
And he's going to have some wedges, and he's going to play the par 5s really well.
Yeah. No, when he attacks the pins he likes to attack. He plays smart too, and then the other ones he's just doing what he does. I mean, he might sneak in a birdie every once in a while, but getting out of there with par, then it's smart. I mean, that's why he's making a lot of money.
It's also mental. Have you ever played in a round where you absolutely striped it, didn't miss a shot, and you're playing competitor / partner of that day, skanked it around, heel cuts and drives, one groove low here, bounce into a chip here, but firm conditions, made an 8-footer, and you are on hole 12 or 13, and he's up on you by 1 or 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gets to you, doesn't it?
100%. Now you're like,
How
I'm
is
forcing
this
this
guy-
issue. Yeah.
I'm hitting it so much better than he is, and he's 4 under through 12.
Yeah, it's like one of those when your buddies ask you about it, like this dude was getting so lucky all day.
And I just missed another 8-footer for birdie, and he's up on me on 2.
Yeah, and he just rolled in a 50-footer out of his ass, and now you're real fired up because you missed your short one.
But should that matter?
No,
but
I mean
does.
It shouldn't, unless it's the final round. You two are battling it out, and obviously, but
if it's a match point situation, and but
it shouldn't. But it will,
a lot.
Because I mean, you're competitive. You want to beat everybody, and you're watching this guy hit these little gross piss stinklers all over the place, and he's knocking in putts, and you're striping at 10 feet, not making any
He's bombing at 330.
Yeah.
He's heel cutting it back there 278.
Yeah,
It's a hybrid of 30 feet. You hit it 8 iron to 14 feet. He walks it in. The high side one.
Yeah.
And you're like, again, this happened again.
Again.
Golf is so funny mentally.
It is. I mean, it'll make you think some crazy things.
I can't believe we picked this sport.
Yeah. I can't either. Sometimes I'm like, damn, why did I really want to do this?
I know.
And then other times I'm like, hell yeah, now I know why.
I make a living out of teaching people how to play golf.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. That's fun though.
It's really fun. It's not a job, but I think about it all the time. Because some people, it's just a game.
Mm. Yeah, it's just a hobby for some people.
Most people that I teach, 85% of the people that I teach, it's a sport, it's their lifestyle, it's their college tuition, it's their livelihood, it's how they pay their bills. But the other 15 to 20%, it's just a game. They play on Friday afternoons when they get out of work early and on Saturdays.
Probably a lot of people that picked it up from COVID too.
And they just want to break 80.
Yeah. It's like I just want to take my buddy's money next week. That's it.
It's the best game in the world.
Those people, you gotta play more, not play more like them, but have the middle game like them. Like they're just there and they hit one good and they get fired up.
I know. They're happy to be outside, having a transfusion with their buddies. Maybe they'll smoke a cigar on the backside, have drinks on the patio afterwards.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I went to Charleston not too long ago to visit her sister, so I played golf while I was down there. And I got paired with 2 randoms. First hole is this weird dog leg. I've never been there. And I'm asking this guy, I'm like, is this hole, like, what does it do? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's a dog leg. It's a really hard hole.
Did you tell me you were a pro?
No, I didn't tell him.
Was your name on your back?
Yeah. But I hit one down the middle of the 4 iron, and I hit a wedge like 10 feet and made it. And as soon as it goes in, he's like, holy shit, dude, like, that was a birdie. And I was like, yeah, man.
I may make some more.
Yeah, I was
Stick around.
I think I ended up shooting like 400 or 500, but these guys were so fired up the whole time. And it's just like, they're just fun to be around. They just love the game. Like, they don't really care what happens, but when someone makes a par or birdie, they're fired up.
We do, as pros, I'm a quote-unquote pro, you're a touring professional, but we do take good shots for granted sometimes.
100%.
Because the people we play with are all very high level, won championships, very high level championships, Hall of Famers, Korn Ferry Tour, PGA Tour players. So we just get accustomed to, he just made another sick up and down.
Yeah.
Or he just hit 14 fairways and averaged 318, and every one of them faded 10 to 30 yards, in the middle of the face.
I think a weird thing is I found like after rounds when I'm telling people about it, I never tell people about good shots I hit. It's always like, oh yeah, I hit this really bad shot on this hole, and this is what caused me to do this.
Isn't that crazy?
It's weird. It's almost like you don't want to tell people the good stuff. All you want to tell them is the bad stuff you did.
Do you think we should take more time as golfers reflecting on the positives and the good stuff?
100%.
We're going to hit more bad shots than good shots just because the better you get at golf, the higher your expectations become. So having 132 yards in the wind off the left and not starting your flighted cut far enough left and hitting it to 26 feet is a bad shot for us. But if we were a 2 handicap, that would be great because we're on the green and the wind's into off the left. When
you go out there and you shoot 2 under one day or something, I guarantee you not all 70 shots were good.
No.
Not maybe like 10% of them probably. And maybe a little more.
Here's a good one. Are either one of us happy if we shoot 2 under?
I'm not mad.
But are you ecstatic?
No.
You're thinking, that could easily
You're thinking, well, in a Monday, you're like, well, that was fun. Let's go home.
But even like playing in a tournament,
No, because you
you're
got
like, that should have been 4.
You can't really afford.
Or you shoot 5, and most of the time, that the better you get at golf, you shoot even to, we'll say 4 under. 5 under is a little different threshold, but most of the time you shoot 68, and probably the first thing you think of is that should have been the easiest 66.
Yeah, you think about every shot you left out there.
I pushed that 6-footer, and I didn't get it up and down pin high on that par 5, and I laid up to a terrible number on 18.
It always comes back to rounds like that. Like exactly what you're saying. It's like, there's no way I shouldn't have shot 7 under today. It's like the fact that like you'll get on the phone and you're like 4 under is the worst I could have shot today.
But before you teed it up, you would have taken 400.
100%.
It's like Rory and Harry, right? Harry, this guy.
Yeah.
He bogeys 18 at Augusta,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're walking off, and apparently Harry told Rory, we would have taken this before the week started. We would have taken a playoff for a green jacket.
100%.
And that really calmed it down. But in the moment, obviously, he was spiraling.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's true. Like, if someone told me before the round, like, hey, would you take 68 for today and not even teed up? But yeah, absolutely, I'd take 4 under.
It's like when you were a junior golfer and you're trying to break par, and you finally broke par. You were trying to break, par for 9 holes, and you shot that 35 or you shot that 71. That only lasted for a day or two, and then you want to break 60.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you want to shoot a 60.
Yeah, now it's like, all right, that was cool, and like, let's go deeper now.
We're crazy.
Yeah. It's always trying to get
What's
better.
wrong with us?
It's like you shoot 65, and it's like, I should have broke the course record today.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't.
God, there's so many out there. Oh,
it's like
man.
7 under is not good enough.
That was the worst 64 in my life.
A lot of times, too, though, it's like you'll go shoot 65, and you'll play a game of Wolf with your buddies, and you'll lose the last hole.
Yeah.
And now you're like, well, my 65 doesn't mean shit. I lost $300.
Something's wrong with us.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's like that.
Everyone is.
And the better you get at golf, the harder you are on yourself, I think.
Yeah, the more you want out of it.
Yeah.
100%. There's no like I'm satisfied with this. It's always, I want more.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I mean, it's a good mentality to have.
Is
but
it?
It'll,
Are you sure?
I don't know. I feel like it could be.
But I guess all the successful like CEOs and presidents and chairmen,
Never satisfied,
they were never satisfied.
but they probably suck at golf.
Yeah. You think like Jeff Bezos and Elon are ever sasatisfied?
No, that's
Probably
that's why they keep on inventing
Right.
stuff.
So-
That's why Amazon and Tesla is still growing.
So maybe we do have it figured out.
Just
Look at us.
maybe we'll have $1 billion idea soon.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Okay, I'm gonna try a segment out on you.
Okay.
Change my mind. I think the Open Championship is the greatest golf tournament in the world every single year. Agree? Disagree?
I disagree. I'd say it's 4.
You have it last.
No. It's ahead of the Masters. But I would say,
Oh, you have the players, is it?
yeah,
Okay.
I would go U.S. Open, Players, PGA, then the Open.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I love the U.S. Open just because I love like when those guys win it 1 over and like they're grinding the whole run. Like that's fun to watch.
So I think the Open Championship, commonly referred to as the British Open, even though it's in Northern Ireland this year,
I think so.
I think it's the best because you have the weather, you have crazy fast conditions sometimes, you have the guys flighting at all different heights, trajectories, and you get to wake up at 5 a.m. and watch golf.
I mean, it is fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. I do really enjoy watching it. I hate getting up at 5 a.m. to watch it. That does suck.
At the U.S. Open, you got to hit it high.
Yeah.
There's only this kind of
Like X amount of people that
go
go
line, but there's obviously looking back, you can find some outliers, but probably 15 people
But couldn't you say the same thing for the Open? Because not everyone can flight the ball like certain people.
No, Todd Hamilton, Stuart Sink.
I don't know Todd Hamilton.
The other guy, I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
Ben, what's his name? There are all kinds of like crazy Open championships.
So you like it because anyone has a chance. Like you tease it up.
More people have a chance. I love the different trajectories.
Mm-hmm.
I love the different trajectories. Especially in the short game. The weather, waking up early, and super hot take. Luckily, I've been around a lot of the tour players, coaching, getting to be inside the ropes. Most of the foreigners are the guys that I want to have drinks with and play practice rounds with. Not that I'm playing, but like walking with. They tend to be a little more welcoming, a little more warmer, a little nicer, more relaxed, and I just am drawn to their personalities more.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think it's...
You want to be in the European Ryder Cup room over the Americans, I promise you.
I wouldn't go that far.
You do.
I don't know.
You don't be Shane Lowry. You don't be next to that guy having a pint.
Okay, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming with all
Tommy
of it.
Fleetwood. Yeah. You have it fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
The PGA's.
I like the PGA.
It depends on the golf course. It's very dependent on the golf course, as is the Open Championship. But
what course is the Open at this year? Do you know what it's called in?
Is it Royal Portrush?
That sounds right. I don't know though. You could have just spat out something I would have told you. It sounds right.
I think that's right. One of the 6 listeners can fact check that one. I think that's where it is.
Please.
The PGA's at Quail.
Mm-hmm.
US is at Oakmont, correct?
Yeah. And
you're telling me more than 10 people have a chance to win at Oakmont?
Yes. I would select, I think 30.
30?
30.
No chance.
You don't think so?
Oakmont?
Oakmont. 30.
No.
It's hard.
Very hard.
30 though. I don't know. These guys are so damn good.
They are good.
There's a lot of, I do understand where you're coming from, like the guys who hit it high when the greens are that firm, like concrete, obviously have a better chance. But I mean, what if it pisses rain the whole week before? Or it's raining during the event? Then it brings in so many more people.
It could.
But if it doesn't, obviously it favors like a Rory McIlroy or DJ, someone who bombs it and hits it really high in the air.
DJ's done right. Most of those live guys, other than
he has not played good.
Neiman, Hatton, Bryson, Rahm.
There's only like a select,
like 5 of them.
Koepka hasn't really done anything in the majors since he won. What did he? He won what, the PGA 2 years ago? But since then, his best finish is like top or T25 maybe.
I think he was hurt, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You never know. I don't know. Rahm's. I wish he was still on the PGA Tour.
I wish a lot of those guys were still on the tour.
Yeah. The competition.
I do think the PGA Live thing, the battle's kind of died down.
I think so too.
I think with the special exemptions, we see Hatton more. Obviously, we saw Neiman,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Reed, all the guys at the Masters, the previous champions. We're going to see a lot of those guys at the PGA. We'll see most of, if not all of them, at the Open Championship because a lot of those guys will try to qualify for that.
Yeah, and the U.S. Open.
Yeah. I do think you have the top 8 guys, and then you have everybody else that's just been forgotten about.
I agree. I mean, I don't think I can name 10 people that are on that tour. I mean, I can name like the big names, and after that, you can be like, who's on this team? I'm like, I have no idea.
I can name the majority of them, but not the teams anymore because they're all switched.
Yeah, it's all, I don't know. I don't really enjoy watching it either. Like, I've tried to watch it on TV. The broadcast is just not nearly as good.
I think it's all about social media, right? Content.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Just to be different. That's the whole thing they're going for, is just to be different. Big party, blah, blah, blah.
We'll wrap this up soon. What's your next 30 days look, practice routine and schedule? Are you hitting 2 hours a day plus golf, 3 hours a day?
Well, I'd like to play a little more. than what I do now, but that's kind of tough to do. So really, I kind of like to get to the course, and I really need to focus more on putting. I need to put a little more time in there, make sure everything's good. So I'm going to start doing like an hour a day. I'm going to chalk line for 30 minutes and do some more, work with like a eye line and stuff like that for 30 minutes, just fundamentals, getting everything down. Then run through a little drill, then do some up and downs, and go to the range and just practice hitting shots. If I have access to a TrackMan, obviously get wedge charges, make sure all of those are good. And then from there, just kind of get creative out there, picture holes if I know where I'm going. Like if for the Monday, if I get, of course, I played like 3 ridges, I can hit shots that I know I'm going to have to hit out there, like certain tee shots and stuff like that. Because there's some quirky holes. Like the first hole's a little quirky out there. Or if you hit a 4-iron too far left, it's going to go out of bounds off the tee.
Do you shot pattern or Google Earth or what do you have?
I use 18 birdies.
18 birdies.
Yeah, I like that app. I didn't even know about it until about 6 months ago, and I got introduced to it. Game changer.
It's a really easy interface.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
It's nice.
The app looks good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very. It's just nice how you can just literally click on and course preview and it shows you everything.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Especially when you play US Open locals and
you can't get to play a practice round. No. Just gonna 18 birdie the whole thing and hope I get lucky.
Just play in your mind.
Yeah.
How many shots will you hit in your mind before you play in a tournament? The round one time at least?
Like on the range?
Or just in bed as you're dotting your yardage book. Like, will you visually play the golf course?
Oh man, when I'm outside the golf course, I don't think about golf at all.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing on my mind.
Not even the night before?
No, not really. I'm more focused on like, is my MLB bet gonna be good and stuff like that, to be honest.
Well, when do you dot your pins?
The night before.
Yeah.
But I'm not really focused on them.
You're doing it with DraftKings on.
Yeah, with Draft. I'm like, I need this guy to hit a home run. Like, I do not want to work when this is
Cash
over.
out. All right. Well, best of luck to you, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. This is
Cheers.
fun. Cheers.
Everybody follow Michael Barnard on his journey to greatness.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.